Hotep Sinuela Sinut Itir and Ishaka Ndugu Kemet. Hope you're doing well. Let me check the sound. Kemet. Okay. The title of this video is Senator says we can't decipher the hieroglyphs. We don't know what the symbols mean. I'm going to share the screen briefly. We already have the Pharaohist, peace to you, sister. We have Mac Money, peace to you, brother. I'm about to share the screen. We're not gonna waste time. I'm gonna share the link to the video that I will share, which is hosted on Senator's channel, Senator Studios, because he has more than one YouTube channel. So in the chat, I've shared this video entitled Professor Walter Williams, the Medunetta have never been deciphered, the origins of the Black Israelites. Jehotep. 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 Ok, dis au revoir. Dis au revoir. Voilà. Ok, c'est bien. C'est bien. Allez, c'est bien, c'est bien. Allez, va t'asseoir là-bas. Okay, I'm gonna share the screen. The timestamp is hour 1, minute 14, and second 30 or 32. I'm gonna mute my mic because baby girl's making some noise. Quelqu'un qui te dit bonjour, Merout. Te dit bonjour. De Farotiste t'a dit bonjour. Non, c'est bon, c'est bon, c'est bon. Je t'ai dit, c'est bon. Tu peux t'asseoir. Assieds-toi. Bonjour. Mais ok, bonjour, c'est bien. Okay. Bonjour les amis. Bonjour les amis. Bonjour, Farotiste. Autiste. Farotiste. Autiste. Ok. Et Hotep, c'est net. C'est bien. Allez, fais t'asseoir.
To commission a depth real quick.
You have to understand the meaning of the symbols before you can put a sound to it. If you don't understand the meaning of the symbols, how can you put a sound to anything?
I don't disagree. So
but then let's move off of it then. Let's move off of it, Reggie. Okay. Move off of it.
Wait,
thank you.
I'm just going to share my screen. Okay, I'm going to give you an example.
No sharing screens, Reggie. You got to come off the dome, brother.
No, you have
the symbols. Walter Williams is not sharing the screen. He's coming off the dome.
Symbols.
Hold on, Reggie. You can't decipher. No, I am. He's letting you know you can't decipher. You can't break down the symbols. You don't know what the symbol means.
I'm showing you the alphabet of the Egyptian language. So
how? When you don't know the
let me
Egyptian
talk.
language?
What? Let me.
Did you hear it? Did you hear this loud and clear, brothers and sisters? Sarnetta stated that he's rolling with Walter Williams' claim, and he has a right to roll with any claims that he sees fit. But then, what about his name, Sarnetta? What does it mean? If the made nature has not been deciphered. Non, 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 tu vas là-bas avec ça. Tu viens pas ici. Ça fait trop de bruit. Va là-bas avec ça. Eh ben, ok. Tu vas rester ici, c'est comme ça. Like I've said before, I've heard Walter Williams greeting by saying Mad Hotep. Why did he use this greeting before? I wouldn't be surprised if for that live stream of yesterday, there were some greetings with the words Hotep. Black Egyptians wrote, well, the Pharaohs wrote, this is crazy. Black Egyptian wrote, Sarnetta is appealing to authority. His damn name is Sarnetta. Black Egyptian, after this live stream, I'm planning on addressing Wujao. Because I mean it's getting crazier now, you know. So if you know him, you know, feel free to let him know. The Pharisees wrote, Sarnetta must have forgotten his name. Now, I got on the panel yesterday. First, I was in the back chat, like people say. I was on hold, and eventually I was there. So some of you might have seen me, and I was just waiting to have the opportunity to speak. Unfortunately, Walter Williams left, so I couldn't speak to him. But then I wanted to actually address that directly with Sarnetta. And it would have been the first time we would have had a conversation. I went on his platform once when I heard a Moorish guy, you know, spitting his Moorish rhetoric. And I think he addressed the PhD that back down. So I was like, okay, let me just holler and set the record straight real quick. So when I got there, I just greeted Sarnetta as I came in and as I left, but we never had a conversation. So Black Egyptian wrote, Wu was way off last night. I mean, I've heard the main premise. I just want to take the time to listen after his main premise, you know, because all through I thought it was going to be. I'm going to address it after. Killer B wrote, Sa can't even spell or read. No, I wouldn't go that far. I don't. There's no need to say that. You know, there's no need to say stuff like that. So we have 14 people. It's been 8 minutes that I've been live streaming. Sarnetta is planning on having some comedic conference. You know. Now, I understand we will have some pseudos in that comedic conference. Everybody's free to invite whoever they want. It is what it is. A funny thing, once again, you see, yesterday, oh well, let's do this. Let's do this. You know. But yesterday, I answered Walter Williams' $1,000 challenge. All right. And I know that people will not necessarily go and look at other videos. Some people end up on your live stream because it came up in their feed and they would not have a look at other videos. So just for the record, with what you've heard, that we can't decipher the glyphs. We don't know what the symbols mean. We don't know the Egyptian language. All right. And Walter Williams' challenge was simply to pick one single glyph from the ancient Egyptian and to say what it means. Because That's the method. That's the logic of Walter Williams. We were not there when they drew the glyphs, so we don't know what they mean. As if we were there when people came up with the Latin script, which derives from the Greek script, which derives from the Phoenician script, which actually derives, some of those letters actually derives from the Meta Nature. So yes, the Pharaoh is asking, what does netta mean? But here, for the record, va t'asseoir là-bas, tu fais trop de bruit. T'asseoir là-bas. Here, I'm going to continue with the comments, brothers and sisters. Non, je t'ai déjà donné. We have a sun disk, Gardner reference N5. And what does Gardner tell us in his Egyptian grammar? And you can try, most Meta Nature, most books about the hieroglyphic grammar or hieroglyphic dictionaries. What does it say? What does it mean? It means sun. It means other things as well, just like we have English words that can mean several things. But this is a sun disk and it means sun. Gardner reference E1, this is a bull, and it means bull, ka. The sun is Ra. Okay? That's the R sound. That's the A sound. People act like the Greeks were not there and they never heard the ancient Egyptian language. No. You have the page numbers, by the way, here. You see, for the sun, it's page 485 of the actual book. Page 458 for the bull. Here we have a cat. Gardner reference I3. And it means cat. That they called Miu. Page 459. Page 476. Reference K1. That's Gardner reference. Okay. Fish. Page 478. Reference M1. Tree. What does it stand for? What is the meaning of it? Tree. Gardner reference S1. The white crown of Upper Egypt. They called it Hejetet. I'm sorry, Hejet. Some people would dispute the pronunciation. Fine. You can dispute the pronunciation. What does it mean? The white crown. Page 504. Page 510. We have 3 different maces. Okay? So, reference T3, the last one, hedge. What does it mean? Mace. Now, I think it's 040. Gardner reference 040, stairway. Page 497. What does it stand for? Stairway. This one here, I mean, who's going to... the sun's going to be difficult to dispute. Now, Gardner reference P1, boat. They actually say boat on water. I mean, Gardner says that. That's page 498. What does it stand for? Ship. Others will use the word boat. A ship is a boat, isn't it? So it's going to be difficult to get out of that one. So for those who don't know, the PayPal address is at the top. It's also in the description of this video. I wouldn't mind it $1,000. I'm not sleeping on it. I would not lose sleep over it. But people want to play that game that we were not there. We don't know the meaning of it. Do we know the meaning of the alpha, the beta, the delta, the gamma, epsilon, all those Greek letters? Do we know the meaning? Were we there when they came up with it? Do we know what it means? Wait. So, I don't know what Sarnetta was thinking. Sometimes he might play the devil's advocate. Reg is far from my best friend. But was that a game? Or was he really serious about it? That was yesterday. He can come up and say, okay, well, I didn't really mean that. Because if Sanetta stands by his statement that we can decipher, that we don't know what the symbols mean, and we don't know the Egyptian language, then he doesn't know what his own name mean. How do we know the story of those Egyptian rulers? Now, Walter Williams said, for the record, for those who don't know, he said that the ancient Egyptians never wrote a history of themselves. Va te mettre là-bas, là. Dépêche-toi. What does ma'at mean? How many Medu words Saneda has pronounced? How many people did he have on his platform breaking down the Medu? He never told them, oh, no, we don't know what the symbols mean. He never told them, no, we can't decipher the glyphs. Now, I've received the cash app from the person with whose initials are M, or actually MM. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And oh, that's okay. That's Mac Money. Okay. And he wrote, because I rock with you, brother. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And brothers and sisters, I can never say it enough. The support it helps. It encourages me. I'm 18 years deep. But and those platforms there, when they tell you that the Meta Nature has not been deciphered, that we don't know what the symbols mean, when you look at their live stream, it's raining donations. I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous. More power to them. But when you have my platform, when I've been consistent and giving you proper information over the years, the stuff that I'm telling you, nobody will laugh at you. Did anybody ever laugh at you or disrespect you because something that I have taught you, brothers and sisters? Because if that's the case, tell them to holler at me and let me know. I take responsibility if you repeat something that I've told you and somebody's making fun of you. I stand by my words. And if I'm wrong, I say I was wrong. I made a mistake. I made mistakes before. I don't have a problem admitting it. But overall, I've been very consistent. I'm very careful. I'm very careful with the words that I say. I'm not just freestyling with the information. So, why doing a committee conference? What's the point? Why talk? Wait, hold on. Sorry, I have to babysit at the same time. So I hope you can hear me. Senator and anybody else have the right to change their mind. If that's his new stance, it will be good for him to state it for the record. But if Senator feels that the Meta has not been deciphered, that we don't know what the symbols mean, that we don't know the Egyptian language, then there's no point making any Kemetic conference. There's no point talking about ancient Egyptian history unless they are talking about the Greek period, what is known as the late period, circa or around 400 BC. Why would we talk about anything during the time period when we didn't have the Greeks on the land when the Meta was still spoken? If we don't know what it means, it's not logical, it's not consistent to talk about ancient Egypt during the time period for which we only have records in the Medu. Actually, why do we call it Medu? Why do they use the term Medu as well? If it hasn't been deciphered, if we don't know what the symbols mean. And I could ask so many questions like that. All those rulers that we mentioned, that he mentioned, not long ago, he was with Jabari. Jabari was on the platform and he was asking questions about the hieratic. Didn't you hear? Didn't you hear? So maybe ever since he changed his position, and that's fine, he has a right to. But then y'all got. Let me go through the comments. You got to understand that platform is just a bunch of comments and scammers. You can't take them serious, bro. No. That's the host of the channel. Did you miss when I played it? You didn't hear it from himself? Please answer me. Did you hear Senator state that? Maybe you're unaware that Senator said that himself. That's different. I'm not paying attention to the chat and the Twitter finger people. So let me see. I'm waiting for Killer B's answer. In the meantime, I'm going to go through the comments. Now, so, brothers and sisters, did some of you not heard the statement from Senator himself? Because I can play it again. Contrarian thinker, what up? How you doing? Vanessa wrote, hello, interesting live topic. Vanessa wrote, I'm curious more what ancient Egyptians sounded like. Well, how it sounded like, that's another issue. That's another issue. But I want you to remember, brothers and sisters, that the Greeks were there when the language was still spoken. So the way people pronounce it nowadays might not be the same way it was pronounced, thousands of years ago. But for those who don't know, the Hebrew language, there's some way people pronounce it today, and different Hebrew-speaking people have different pronunciations. I'm wondering if they will claim that the Hebrew has not been deciphered. The Pharisees wrote, whatever the Greek letters mean, our people take their word for it regardless and show no interest in learning their own nature. Max Sorrows wrote, Senator playing devil's advocate. The Pharisees is thanking Mac money for the donation that he made towards me. And brothers and sisters, while we're at it, I don't mind if you make a donation, the smallest amount will do. $1, $2, I'm not greedy. Big wrote, if the meta hasn't been deciphered, what does Saneta mean? Will he go back to using Frank? That's a kicker for me. People who say that the meta has not been deciphered, but they have some hieroglyphic or meta words as part of their names. But maybe they believe that it meant something until they heard somebody claim otherwise and they decided to have a different stance. How long did Saneta have that stance for? Did he have it overnight once he had a guest on his platform? Is it because the guy who claims that is now 90 years old, 91 years old? Like the older, the wiser, the older, the better? I'm curious. Saner, I don't know if you will hear this video. I'm not planning on attacking you or dissing you. I'm not planning on disrespecting you. I'm not planning on slandering you. But you have a very large platform. People listen to your platform worldwide. You have to be careful with statements like that. And if you really believe these statements, then there's no point making any Kemetic conference. There's no point talking about ancient Egyptian history before the Greeks were in Kemet. There's no point at all. What do we base our information from? Isn't that from the hieroglyphic? And amazingly, and I have to repeat, when people keep repeating inaccurate information, or when people keep repeating lies, you have to keep repeating the truth. Walter Williams is right. All the Egyptologists in the world are wrong. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? People were not there when the cuneiform writing was brought about. But some people have studied that culture and they can read the cuneiform writing. All those people who talk about the Sumerians, the black-headed ones, where do you think they get that from? Do you think they get that from the Greek? Hotep Big. MacMoney wrote, "You are a humble assassin. Keep coming with that fire." Well, I know it's like a figure of speech, the assassin, but I wouldn't say that. Okay, Jesus Christ didn't hear it. Okay, I'm going to play it for the record for the benefit of the court. This is not slander. All right. I have the link somewhere in the chat. So, yeah, I'm clicking on the link. Oh, no. I'm going to open it in a new window. It's best for me to have the chat just in case. I won't be long. So the timestamp is hour 1 minute 14 second 30. 1:14:30. Let me share the screen.
Hold it. That's my challenge to you now.
No.
See, if you can't do that, if you can't do that, then let's end the conversation. I'll challenge you.
Let's not end. I said what I would suggest. I would suggest that you have a great debate with myself,
Okay, it's not the timestamp. That's when Reggie was lame, suggesting that there's a debate with Walter Williams, himself, and two other people. Like 3 against 1, 3 versus 1.
Jonathan Owens, and maybe one other person, maybe a person from the Amira squad, maybe Ujawu, who wrote.
Yeah, Ujawu that I would address later on. The same Ujawu that was pseudo not long ago, but now it's fit for a debate. I'm gonna look for the proper timestamp. bear with me. It's funny. I thought it was that one. You know what? If I go back to the live stream, I'm going to listen to the timestamp that I stated before I played it. Well, that's actually what I said. I said 1:14 and 30 seconds. How strange. 1:14 and 30 seconds. Okay, I remember at that time, Sanetta didn't have his webcam. It was an avatar. So, let me look for it. Okay, well, I found the part. The timestamp is actually hour 1 minute 42 second 32. So I'm going to play it now. Let me mute myself first.
Smile to the club. Standards. You have to understand the meaning of the symbols before you can put a sound to it. If you don't understand the meaning of the symbols, how can you put a sound to anything?
I don't disagree. So
but then let's move off of it then. Let's move off of it, Reggie. Okay. Move off of it. Wait, thank you.
I'm just going to share my screen. Okay. I'm going to give you an example.
No sharing screens, Reggie. You got to come off the dome, brother.
No, you have
the symbols. Walter Williams is not sharing the screen.
He's
coming off the dome.
Symbols.
Hold on, Reggie. You can't decipher. No, I am. He's letting you know you can't decipher. You can't break down the symbols. You don't know what the symbol mean.
I'm showing you the alphabet of the Egyptian language. So
how? When you don't know the Egyptian language?
How? When you don't know the Egyptian language? You can't decipher. You don't know what the symbols mean. Mark Money heard it before I played it. Jesus Price wrote, I just came in. I can as I know. He's always said it. I just didn't hear him say it again. I thought that his mind was changed. Brother Price, are you talking about Walter Williams or Sarnetta? I would be surprised that Sarnetta has always said it. It's the first time I heard it from Sarnetta. So probably you're talking about Walter Williams. Because Walter Williams started saying the same thing he said, years ago, decades ago, actually. I think his first book was released in 1998. Or was it not? No, was it 1998? It was in the 90s anyway. I don't think it was 1992. I think it was 1998. But anyway, So you have an opportunity to let me know if you think Sanetta always said it or Walter Williams. Walter Williams, yes, he's been saying it. Yes, indeed. Big wrote every time Elder Walter Williams is on Sanetta's platform, he flip flops. Well, I don't know if he flip flops. But when it comes to the meta nurture, he's been saying the same thing with new arguments, but it's the same thing. And he said the meta nurture has never been deciphered and it will never be deciphered. So he can predict the future, apparently. Black Egyptian, thank you very much for your $5 super chat or super sticker. He wrote, keep up the good work. I appreciate that. And really, brothers and sisters, don't feel no kind of way about, making a small contribution. I don't mind any amount will do for me. So I don't know what the minimum is there. I'm glad with it. So price was Sinetta. Okay. Well, brothers and sisters, have you heard Sinetta always saying that? It's the first time for me. Ferretis wrote, uh-oh. And the Ferretis added, seems like a lot of people in the conscious community are flip-flopping. Well, the reason why a lot of people are flip-flopping is because they make some statements and sometimes they will just make other statements and they might forget what they've said before, or sometimes they might realize that they were wrong or not accurate. So they will just focus on some more accurate statement. But in the process, they don't really want to say, well, what I said before was inaccurate. And if you bring it up, they might say, no, what I meant was you didn't hear me, you didn't understand me, you have comprehension issues, blah, 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 blah. Rather than just freeing themselves by saying, well, I was wrong, or I made a mistake, or I was inaccurate. That to a lot of people. The funny thing though, um, well, okay, Price, still maintains that Senator has always said that. But if anybody else ever heard Senator always saying that, let me know. But to me, that was news. To me, that was news. Well, he was addressing Reg indeed, but no matter who he was addressing, that's his stance. So Walter Williams was talking to the butler. And I remember at some point he was saying, well, your ego is stopping you from whatever. So now people have a stance. Like let's say I say, well, the moon is blue, but your ego won't let you admit that. And no matter what you say, I say, it's your ego that won't let you admit that. One of the greatest talking point ever. And since he comes from an elder, well, the elder's right, that's his ego. And Walter Williams said, I can learn from everybody. I can learn from such and such. I can learn from such and such. He has a stance, and whoever disagrees with that stance is their ego that's going to stop them from it reminds me of those guys who say, you don't understand, you don't understand, you don't understand. I understand, I disagree. Others who say you're appealing to authority. Others who say you're using white source as if knowledge have a color. You have so many different kinds of talking points. So whoever feels like the meta nature has not been deciphered, I'm like, fine, that's your stance, but why don't you be consistent? Stop talking about ancient Egyptian history. Where do you get that from? The same way they say, you're not there, you never had a conversation with the ancient Egyptians, so you don't know how the language was pronounced, you don't know what the symbols mean. Well, how the heck are you going to know their history? How the heck do you know the names of the rulers? Some might say, well, we have the Omana letters, okay, so you're going to take the pronunciation of the cuneiform from the Omana letters over the hieroglyphic? And all those PhDs in the world, all these Egyptologists in the world, they are wrong. They're all wrong. Because one guy said so. We look bad, brothers and sisters. We look really bad. So none of us were there. So when people talk about Amenhotep III, Queen Hatshepsut, Queen T, Akhenaten, Tutankhamen, King Tut, Jehutimes, y'all need to stop talking about them. Hyksos, y'all need to stop talking about the Hyksos. Unless you want to rely on Josephus. First century, I mean, AD time, not first century. Josephus, I think, it's obviously after the lifetime of Christ, if he existed. So I can't recall if it's like 37 AD or something, but people need to be consistent. Whoever make the statement, you might as well change your names, and you might as well state for the record, I have a name, I don't know what it means. I have a name, I don't know what it means. How many times I heard those guys saying Necheru or Netchers? Many people say Netchers. How many times have I heard them say names of deities? Heru, Aset, Horus, Isis, Usir, Osiris, Tehuti, Ma'at. How many times have they mentioned Ma'at? How many times have they mentioned Ma'at? How many times have Saneda said, oh, I'm Kemet? I'm Kemet all the way. How many times have he said Kemet? He usually says ancient Kemet. Why does he use the word Kemet? The Meta-Nature has not been deciphered. We don't know what the symbols mean. We don't know the Egyptian language. Why does he say Kemet? Is it consistent? I'm sorry, is it consistent, brothers and sisters? Does that even make sense? Does that even make sense? Whoever has that stance, fine. It's your prerogative. It's your opinion. It's your stance. Fine. Be consistent with your stance and stop using any ancient Egyptian terms, names, verbs. Go all the way. Go all the way. Be consistent. Aya, peace to you. Pricewood. But this time I believe he was just saying that Reggie doesn't know the Meta-Nature. Well, that's not what I heard. That's not what I heard. That's not what I heard. So maybe it's a misunderstanding. So I invite Sanetta to clarify his stance. I invite him to clarify his stance. So it's already been 44 minutes. I'm going to address Ujao. If you know Ujao, let him know. I'm going to address him. It's not going to be immediately, but it's going to be, I don't want to give an estimation and then I'm not there, but it's going to be today. It's going to be later on. Big Walter William uses Ma'at too, law. His book was released on the Ma'atian press. Why Ma'atian? Why using the term Ma'at? Why using the word hotel? I think now I understand why Walter Williams used to be very big on people using the term Egypt rather than using Kemet. And then we'll say, you know why we should say Egypt rather than Kemet? Because when we look at the map, it says Egypt. That's his reasoning, to each his own. So, brothers and sisters worldwide, whoever you are, no matter your race, creed, or color, if you feel like the Meta-Nature has not been deciphered, I'm like, fine. But don't you come telling me about, well, actually Moses was that Pharaoh. Actually, Joseph was that Pharaoh, or Joseph was that vizier. Well, actually, the Pharaoh of the Exodus was. Maybe from now on, I'm going to have to ask people, do you feel like the Meta-Nature hasn't been deciphered? So if they say that they feel like it hasn't been deciphered, I'm like, okay, fine. But anytime they're going to talk about ancient Egypt, oh, so hold it right there. Slow your roll right now. Meta-Nature has not been deciphered. Don't even talk about ancient Egyptian history. We don't know what the symbols mean. We don't know the ancient Egyptian language. It has not been deciphered. So there's no point talking about what has not been deciphered. We don't know what it means. Those are symbols. We don't know what it means. Like alien type of writing out of space, because alien doesn't necessarily mean, well, okay, never mind. Out of space, special writing, science fiction type of special writing that we don't know, we don't understand. We're not there when it came up with those symbols, and we leave it there. I wrote, I love your courage. Well, I don't even think I appreciate the message, but at this point, I'm not standing up against an army. I'm not standing up against anybody. I'm just saying, if anybody feels that way, then let them be consistent. But indeed, I'm kind of saying, some every now and then I'm saying things that most people don't really dare to say, but it's not. The problem is that we have crews, we have teams, and we have people that were given some status. So there's a status quo. Those are the master teachers, those are the elders, those are the scholars. Many people with PhDs or different titles that they haven't earned, and then everybody's rolling with it. Everybody's rolling with it. And if you don't follow that status quo, then you're considered a renegade. You go against the grain, and blah blah blah. It's sad, but a lot of people are just blind followers, sheeps. A lot of people are like that. They feel more comfortable rolling with the crowd. But remember, it's crowded at the bottom, but lonely at the top. Some people are going to say, well, you said that, so he feels like he's at the top. He feels like he's higher than us. Who the hell does he think he is? Can't stand that guy. I don't know the middle letter. I don't want to learn it, so I'm just going to say it hasn't been deciphered, and that's good for me. Hey, you have the right to. Nobody's under any obligation to learn the meta nature. Nobody's under any obligation to study the meta nature. Nobody's under any obligation to read the glyphs. Nobody's under any obligation to like Kemet. You don't like it? Fine. We still have some people today, when we talk about Kemet, why, you're not from Kemet. You're not from Egypt. We're West Africans. We're not from there. And once again, when somebody says, I'm a Muslim, nobody says, hey, you're not from Arabia. You're not from the Hijaz. Somebody says Hebrew. Nobody says, you're not from Jerusalem. You're not from Galilee. You're not from Galilee. You're not from Bethlehem. When somebody says he's a Catholic, a Christian, we don't hear sentimental talks. We don't hear, you're not from the Vatican. You're not related to the Pope. That I wrote, there was a time that Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark was in disagreement. Well, do you know some human beings who always agreed on everything? And disagreement is okay. It's part of life. So only Pan-Africans who feel like we should agree on everything. That's why they agree with rapists and pedophiles, because, they want to be cool with everybody. So, no disagreement, no problem with the disagreement per se. But anyway, I'm gonna address Wujau. It's getting weird now. It's getting weird. So, for those who have not subscribed to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. It's worth it to subscribe on my Twitter, because when I'm live streaming, I share the link on Twitter. Not everybody's notified on YouTube. It happens, it happens to many different channels, or some people get the notification too late. All right. So thank you for being there. I'm hoping that I will see most of you, if not all of you, later on when I will address Wujau, because at this point it's just getting weird. Stay safe, stay healthy, and if I'm allowed to by the nature, I will definitely holler back at you, Hotep.
Now, for the record, for those who don't know, I'm giving Middle Nature classes. And here, that's the flyer. Okay? So, those who are interested, feel free to holler at me. If you're not interested, it's cool. But I recommend that everybody who has not yet seen the video, Kemet and Ma'at, Before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, then watch it. It has about 300,000 views and really deserves to have a lot more.
I just want to let everyone know who's listening in now and who's going to listen to this stream in the future. I just had my first Meta Nature class by Brother Shaka today, and I've had other Meta Nature lessons by other teachers, and I can tell you right now, the brother is the best in the game. He is that was one of the best classes I've ever had, ever. So if you're interested in learning the Meta Nature, if you're interested in getting the basics of it, Brother Shaka is an awesome teacher. Get with him, and it's extremely affordable. This brother is giving us his time and his skills, and he's basically giving it away. I mean, I just consider it a donation. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody's interested in learning the Meta Nature, get with this brother right here. He's an awesome, awesome, awesome teacher. And I'll end with that.
Hotep Senu, Hena Senut. This is Julie, also known as Servant of Yah, and I'm currently taking the Medu Nature classes with Brother Shaka, and it has been an amazing experience. Only 2 lessons so far, and I feel like I've been taking the classes for months, just with the how in depth he goes into the vocabulary words, the construction of the language, the grammar. It's been immeasurable, the experience. And one thing that comes across, hands down, is his extreme passion for teaching this to anyone who is willing to learn and has an interest in learning. So I highly suggest, if you are interested, even a minimal interest, that you subscribe to the classes with Brother Shaka. It's such a nominal amount for how much you get. I know, like, our last class was over 2.5 hours. It felt like 2 minutes, but because that's how, involved you are in what he's teaching and how he teaches and how compassionate he is about what he teaches. Also with sharing materials free of charge, no question, no doubt. It's just what he does. He doesn't have to, but he does. And so I just wanted to give a short testimonial about the class and the effectiveness of the class. And all of that is attested to how studied Brother Shaka is. So I highly recommend anyone with a minimal interest that you do sign up for the Medu Nature class. Hotep.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, which is Ma'at Forever. Don't forget to watch the video entitled Kemet and Ma'at. Don't forget to share Kemet and Ma'at on my channel on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or other social media that you use. Email, text messages, you name it. Those who wish to donate can do so on paypal.me/ma'atforever.